Hi friends, I'm Lydia Carradine and I am melanated, hyphenated, convalescent. Welcome back to my channel. Please go ahead and like and or subscribe if you enjoy the content here. Today I am going to be talking about mental health tips if you are like me and are newly disabled and are trying to navigate your new reality. It's been quite a journey for me that I'm still in the midst of as I'm still trying to figure out diagnoses and just adjust to the differences in my daily life. And I've been on quite a mental health journey since 2021. So when all of these health things got added in, um, it was a challenge. Wasn't fun the whole time, but I'm learning a lot. So here are some things that I'm going to share. The first thing that I am a strong advocate for is therapy. I know that it's not always accessible to everyone, but I'm a person. I thought I was like, my insurance isn't gonna cover it. I can't afford this right now. It's too dangerous to go in the middle of a pandemic, etc., etc., etc. So part of the things that I was telling myself were things that were kind of true, but also I was kind of making excuses, assuming what the answers would be. And so last summer, I was fortunate enough to someone basically gave me a tip like, if you do these things with your particular insurance, you can most likely get a therapist that they will cover. They just don't publicize it. And I did those things. And it took a lot of trial and error, a lot of calling, finding out that this therapist no longer works with this insurance, or this therapist does, but they have a 6-month waiting list to see new patients, etc., etc., etc. But I finally found someone, and she is, game changer. Having a professional to talk to about all the things I'm dealing with, who knew? So I would suggest, and I will link some resources below, but I would definitely suggest not giving up. Having an ally in your mental health journey is invaluable. So that's the first thing. And along with that, before I did find the therapist I'm with, I was doing things like journaling, because having a place to put your feelings and your thoughts is, I find, very helpful. I'm a writer anyway, so kind of getting them out in that form feels natural to me. It's also helpful to put it on a piece of paper. Some things you want to reflect on, and some things it's like, get it out of your head and then literally throw the piece of paper away. Burn it if you can do so safely. It just depends on what kind of things you're processing. My therapist also specifically says like doing a brain dump. So if there's something that's really bothering you, if you're having negative feelings about something, write them all down. She says, write it down so that you can acknowledge your feelings, and then acknowledge them, but don't stay in them. And so having to deal with physical limitations and the frustrations of maneuvering through the medical system has been a lot, and therapy has really helped me process that on a day-to-day basis. So that's one thing I would highly recommend. Black women, we need therapy. It's okay for us to ask for help. That's been a struggle for me, and I cannot suggest and promote and encourage you enough to seek out therapy. Even if you think you're feeling okay, please, I implore you, find a therapist. It's life-changing. The second thing that I've done is find support groups who are dealing with your particular ailment. One of the ones that's most helpful to me, or the one that I found first anyway, has been Body Politic. It's a extremely large long COVID support group, and a lot of the people in that group are now dealing with a lot of the things that I am as well. So like the POTS, the dysautonomia, chronic fatigue syndrome, um, the migraines, the changing relationships that happen when you suddenly have a disability when you didn't before, with yourself and all the people in your life. Even though it's like an online forum, it's still really nice to be able to see what other people are dealing with. They have suggestions, and just knowing that you're not alone and you're not imagining all these things, extremely helpful. I'm also part of a group that's specifically for Black COVID survivors, and that also is really beneficial because, as most of us know, medical bias is real. And since this is such a new thing, it's even harder for just in general for people to kind of take symptoms seriously. It's being acknowledged more from what I've been reading and seeing. People are like, oh wow, this isn't going away, and millions of people are dealing with this. Yeah, so having support groups in place, just having other people who can validate your experiences, even if they can't necessarily offer a solution, I find very, very helpful. So I would suggest that if that's something that you're dealing with whatever the ailment is, find people who can relate to you, who aren't your family and aren't your doctor. It's really helpful. Secondly, give yourself grace. I have to do this in many areas. I'm extremely ambitious, and I can't do a lot of the things that I want to do, either physically because they wear me out, I don't have the energy, or I just can't do things at the same speed. I can't do as many things in a day, and that's very frustrating. So I have to give myself grace for not being able to operate the same way, but also when I get mad at myself, then I tend to spiral, and it's like, I'm in a new phase of life, so I have to proceed accordingly. I'm also making sure that as I approach the world as a disabled person, like I'm doing it with sensitivity. I still present able-bodied, and I'm trying to make sure that I am using all of the correct terminology and being mindful, being clear about what I need now, and also balancing not wanting to take up space that I shouldn't take up. So that's been an adjustment for me, but I think as long as I continue to ask questions of people who have been in this space longer than I have and do my research, because as we all learned in 2020, Google is free. So yeah, giving myself grace in every area is something that I am working on, and I encourage everyone to do the same, especially because if you've suddenly become disabled, a lot of things are going to be more frustrating. So maybe you're reacting in ways that you wouldn't before. And just know that the frustration is part of it. And don't beat yourself up. Another thing that I suggest, my fourth tip for mental health, if you are newly disabled, is to treat yourself in small and big ways. So I used to I'd be like, oh, I'm saving this for whatever day, or I would put off a lot of things that I wanted to do to enjoy myself, or like, for example, today. This is very silly. I had an acai bowl from Trader Joe's in my freezer, and I was like, I'm gonna eat it on Saturday. And then I came home and I was like, no, I'm gonna eat it today. Why not? And I think it's really important for me especially to find like little moments of joy in the day where I can, because some days I've spent hours on the phone trying to make a new appointment, or I just like woke up and took a shower and I was immediately tired. So anything that I can do to bring a smile to my face, I'm gonna do it. I think it's very important. So however you can do that, please do. And number 5. So this is a big one for me. Protecting your energy, however you need to do that. I know for me, a lot of things are draining in ways that they weren't before. And I just have less to give in every area of my life. So one of the ways that I protect my energy is by limiting news and information. And I mean like national news, but also like just kind of things, people in my circle. I have accepted that I cannot solve everyone's problems right now. And I certainly love to still be aware, but I can't emotionally deal with all of the details about everything that's going on anymore. So I kind of skim, I read headlines. If something pertains to me, I will look into it more. And if it doesn't, I try to let it go. Because I'm worried about getting MRIs. Like, I can't, there's some things I just, like, I'll have to come back to that. So protect the information if you know how it's going to affect you. I'm an empath. I worry, I spiral, so I have to limit what comes in. That's just how I have to operate right now. I also protect my energy by curating my company. So some people, I think everyone knows who the people are in their lives, rile up their spirits on a good day. If those people haven't accepted this new version of you, or you know that if you're around them, if you talk to them, if you read their text, if you see their Instagram stories, if you know that that person is going to leave you feeling less than stellar, mute them. Don't answer the phone. Maybe you don't need to talk to them at all anymore, and whatever you're going through was a sign that you should take that step. Just a thought. And adding to that is letting people be mad. I am not, it hasn't happened a lot, but in some instances, I'm feeling some resistance from people who are used to me being one way. That's just not my reality anymore, at least for right now. So, if people aren't going to be helpful, positive lights in your life, just, you don't need to deal with that at this point in time. Maybe they can come back in the future. But it's very important to me right now that I keep as much negativity that I can control out of my life. And conversely, if I know someone is gonna make me laugh, is supportive, is caring, is mindful of my condition, then by all means, have more of that energy. And that doesn't just have to be friends. It can be, things you like to watch, things you like to read. I'm doing things that are just like lower impact, so I'm reading more, because screens, in addition to giving me information that like overstimulates me and stresses me out, that's not what I want right now. So I'm going back to my first love. I love books. I'm reading more books. So yeah, those are my tips. To recap, please find a therapist. Whatever you can do, even if it's like once a month, I implore you to find a therapist. And along with that, until you can do that, do some journaling. Find a support group that speaks to your specific whatever you're dealing with. Give yourself grace as you navigate through this process. Treat yourself in small and big ways, however you can. and protect your energy. So those are just some things that I've found that help. Some days I do better with those and some days I don't, but like I said, I'm learning and I'm doing my best. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will see you next time.